Hello, and welcome to my vlog. I am starting this vlog to start talking about the things that go on in my mind and see what the world thinks about it, essentially. I want to start some discussions about some things that I've been thinking about because maybe others have been thinking about them too, and I want to make some connections. I want to start a dialogue, perhaps, per se. So, without further ado, I want to talk about an experience I had today, and it's one that most people commonly refer to as hopelessness. I've been doing a lot of thinking about humanity and what we need to do to change and to sort of progress the chain of evolution that has been ongoing for millions of years, eons and eons, long before we've been born. We're at a truly strange crossroads now. That modern civilization has existed for hundreds of years. We may be at one of the most interesting times in history. It may well be the end of history as we know it, for those of you who ascribe to the ideas of Terence McKenna. Guilty as charged. So, at the same time though, there's a lot of grounds to be sort of hopeless about where we're headed, because it seems that we've lost the plot. I've heard it said by McKenna, or at least alluded to, and it to some degree resonates with me, that when we were closer to nature, we were closer to purpose and a meaningful existence. Since we've sort of artificiated all our entire world essentially, we have been sort of dancing an aimless waltz for centuries now. And where is it headed? What has it produced? Certainly there's a lot of evidence suggesting, and not just scientific, but if taking a look around at the world that surrounds us, that we have been propagating an awful lot of destruction on our environment. And this is most certainly the kind of behavior that an intelligent species, one would think, would avoid. Unfortunately, reality has displayed otherwise. So I feel that the task that is at hand is for us to continue evolving. And I think it begins with individuals. And it begins with rejecting certain insanities that have been normalized. But this doesn't come about right away, I feel. And this is where hopelessness comes in. Now, how I feel that hopelessness comes about is when one becomes far too absorbed in the aspect of reality that exists as it is now, and has the sort of delusion that there's nothing that can be done. There's no way of changing a situation. Now, to some degree, there's truth in this. We cannot turn a battleship around with an oar. It's not going to work. Try as we might. But the oar is far too small, the person's far too weak, the ship is far too heavy. It just doesn't work like that. what I do feel is possible is for us to, when we experience this hopelessness, is to delve into it, is to feel it completely, to experience it as rawly and as intensely as possible. And at the end, something strange might happen. You may have what's called in our culture an epiphany. In the East, it's called satori, sudden realization. And this to me is a perfect example of a kind of common sense, practical spirituality that I think could be practiced by anyone, and in I think any context. This is the sort of shift in consciousness that I think, and I feel, is going to sow the seeds of potential human evolution. Now, locking ourselves away, or simply in meditating all day, or focusing on positive thinking all the time, are certainly two things that work to an extent, but ultimately won't yield any sort of change in a present situation alone. I think the third key ingredient in a sort of spiritual undertaking is engagement. And almost dropped the camera there. Sort of helping others to become enlightened, in a sense. I think this is something that doesn't really get too much attention from the average person who's walking the spiritual path. But I know in my life I've certainly seen the importance of it, and I've recognized that. So I really wanted to make this sort of succinct point that I feel that a shift in thinking is ultimately going to lead into a shift of consciousness, and where that will carry us is out of the external world into our internal world, so that that may subtly begin to influence our external world in a more positive way. So let me know what you think about this. I really primarily just want to get this idea out there, and so I can sort of get feedback from people. This is like my first legit vlog ever, so I'm doing the best I can. So let me know what you think, and hopefully I'll do this some more.